Now we're with Brad Kenny, who's the owner or managing director, aren't you, of ESP company on the bypass. Tell us what it's been like this week with those landslides behind your shops and up in the hills behind you.
It's sort of been on and off. Saturday, the actual orbiter for Rassada came knocking door to door and insisted that we vacate the business and shut down. So we did that. We abided by that. He had mentioned that the big problem, the concern was, is that up on top of the hill there was some reservoir of water. And they were worried if the side of the hill from where they had excavated before fell out, that this water would then coming down following it. So based on that, I moved my family out on Saturday. I later looked at Google Earth and seen these reservoirs are quite a ways down from where we're at, and then we went back in because there was no immediate danger to my business.
You said your family, but what about also your workers and the staff who work there?
Well, by the time they came by, we only work half day Saturday, so we were already closed up the business. So for myself, I particularly, I didn't lose any work time.
You actually live there as well?
Yeah, we were staying in a flat that's up on the top of the business.
How dangerous do you think that situation was there behind your shops and further up behind Adisak warehouse?
Well, sure, it's very very dangerous. If you look at south of where my company is, there's a furniture store called Penang, and they've had the back wall of their furniture store over about 50 meters of length has caved in from landslide that's come down the mountain. They have a long-term problem because the building was built right against where the mountain was excavated, so they have no way of getting equipment around there to clean it up. I think what they're going to have to do is build a new internal wall around where the mountain ended up at. And then on the other side of me, of course, Adisak, he has a huge hardware store, warehouse, and a paint shop. And he's got also a huge problem because where it's caved in there is all the way up to his second floor where it's caved in.
It's come into a shop. That was Thursday night, right?
Yeah, the first day that he had where it breached his back wall was on Wednesday night, and then some more came down on Thursday, and then even up to 2 days ago more fell in. And the latest cave in that happened then. It channeled water coming from the mountain through his store, so he's got like a small river coming right through his paint shop, which of course water damage is even more extensive than just the walls being knocked out and some inventory loss from the soil.
So how worried are you that it might happen to your shops too? Well, is it directly below that?
Yeah, fortunately for me, from the back of my actual double shop house to where the mountain was cut, I have probably 30 meters of space. Now I built a workshop behind there, but I still have, and the mountain is not so high behind me where it was cut. The mountain was cut originally. So we did have some soil fall down, but it just fell into open space that was like a recreation area for my employees. So we'll clean that up. And I'm not really that concerned that even if it continues to rain and more falls, that it's going to do any physical damage to my premises.
All right. Being an environmental expert, have you got any ideas or solutions, or what should they do to kind of rectify the problem as it is? We know that obviously it shouldn't have been excavated in the first place, but what can they do now?
Well, it's for those businesses that have been affected so far. It's going to be a real challenge because unfortunately they were built right up within 1 meter of where the mountain was cut. So there's no room to get equipment or any everything that's going to have to be removed will be by hand. It's a very difficult situation. For the long term, the government officials were over. They were talking about anything from a retaining wall to further cutting the mountains, and do them and cut them in steps. I'm aware that the land behind there is all owned by the forestry department, And so these people that cut the mountain and took the soil out were encroaching on government land. And you know how it went about. I've lived there for 10 years, and how it went about to where for so many years it went unabated is beyond me.
Okay.
But they're I guess they're forming some committees and trying to study to figure out what they'll do.
All right. Finally, just a quick word then on further along on the bypass, the main road to the airport. There's these cracks, the rock subsidence. Got any opinion or views on how dangerous that is?
Well, again, it seems like the worst of the weather's over the rain, and that's where what causes the sliding is the wetness of the soil that's on top. So as long as it stops raining, I don't think we'll see any more sliding. And apparently we're over this big storm, which is now we're at the end of the monsoon season, so I don't think we'll have much more problem. But sure, once it starts to slide, it's more apt to slide more. So probably between the two traffic lanes of the bypass, they probably have to put in. I'm sure you'll have to see that they'll put in a big retaining wall, and then backfill and keep which is the southbound lanes from falling down onto the northbound lanes. So there have to be a big retaining wall going there.
All right, Brad. Thanks a lot for talking to us about this experience, and let's hope there's no more sort of minor disasters, especially your place
Okay. Thank you.
few days next week.
Thank you.